And welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin False, and this past Thursday afternoon, Governor John Bel Edwards, joined by local leaders and legislators, conducted a roundtable discussion with homeowners and business owners from the Lafourche Parish area at the LaRose Civic Center. The discussion was on the challenges people are still facing as they continue to fight their insurance companies following the 2020 and 2021 hurricanes, and how key legislation can reform how insurers treat Louisianians after natural disasters. After the discussion, Governor Edwards spoke with us about the issues the local citizens brought forward.
I want to start by thanking the folks who came from around Lafourche Parish to tell their story about what their experience has been like after Hurricane Ida and dealing with their insurance companies, whether it's a business claim or a homeowner's claim, just the inordinate delays, the ridiculous number of adjusters that have been assigned, the fact that they have to start over every time they get a new adjuster. Adjusters come out who don't get up on the roof, they don't go into the attic, they're not measuring correctly, and at the end of the day, you have nowhere near the amount of money being made available to these people to fix their homes, yet they've been paying their insurance premiums in many cases for decades. And they tell me this is the first claim they've ever made, and they still are nowhere near resolution. And so we've got to do something as a state in order to address this. I was hoping we would do it last year after Hurricanes Laura and Delta in southwest Louisiana. And I will tell you that now that we've got all of southwest Louisiana, now southeast Louisiana because of Hurricane Ida, I do believe we have a very broad-based consensus developing in the legislature. It's Republicans, Democrats, it's rural, it's urban, it's folks who are worried about homeowners and business owners because the noise that is being made by all of these people who feel like they are getting the short end of the stick from their insurance companies is just overwhelming. And so there's a number of bills pending in the legislature this year. I hope that many of them will pass in order to address this situation so that there's complete transparency on the policies, including the hurricane deductibles. There's complete transparency on the claims process with regular updates, a limit on the number of adjusters that can be assigned over a certain period of time. We need to make sure that we're investigating some of these insurance companies on occasion for fraud. If in fact they're collecting premiums and then deliberately are not paying as much as the claims would require under the policy that they've issued. Look, all we want people to do, the insurance companies to do, is that what they've contractually obligated themselves to do in exchange for the premium dollars that have been paid by these homeowners and these business men and women for many, many years. And if they're not going to do it, then there needs to be bad faith penalties that are clear, there's no doubt about them, and that they are sufficient to create an incentive for the insurance companies to do what they should have been doing all along. And so all of these bills and more are pending in the legislature this year. Some are in my package, others are not, but I embrace all of those that represent true reform, because we just can't keep doing this year after year. You know, I was in southwest Louisiana 6 and 7 months after Hurricanes Laura and Delta, hearing the exact same thing that I'm hearing in southeast Louisiana 7 months or so after Hurricane Ida. And I think it's incumbent upon us to address this once and for all, and that's what we were here talking about today. And I'm thankful that we had two state senators here, Senator Smith and Senator Fessy, to hear firsthand of what these people were saying.
Do you think the insurance commissioner is doing enough to protect consumers?
You know, I try to be a very good neighbor. I don't believe that what we have on the books is sufficient. If it were sufficient, we wouldn't be experiencing these bad faith practices. I think there's a business practice that is being followed by many of these insurers. By the way, it's not all insurers, and it's not all claims with any insurer, but far too many times it is to minimize the amount being paid on the policy and to delay those payments as long as possible, just believing that people are going to give up, because that is in fact what happens quite often. Well, when they engage in that kind of behavior, there needs to be a penalty so that they can't do it. And so I don't believe that the laws on the books are enough. I don't believe that the enforcement is sufficient. I don't think the regulation is sufficient, because we have a real problem, and I can't pretend that we don't. And I would welcome the active partnership partnership of Jim Donlan, the insurance commissioner, to actually address these issues. I quite frankly don't believe that we can count on the insurance industry itself to come forward with proposals that will solve these problems that are only problems because of the way the insurance industry is acting.
So you don't see a problem with Commissioner Donlan perhaps not enforcing what's already on the books?
Yeah. Well, I see a problem across the board. I mean, and I don't think enough is being done, quite frankly. And if it's not being done because the laws on the books are not sufficiently clear, or they're not sufficiently onerous in terms of the amount of the penalty that insurance companies have to pay when they're in bad faith by doing some of the things that we talked about, then we need to beef those up. So I don't think it's an either or. I think we all have roles to play here, and that certainly includes the insurance commissioner.
What would you say to the people seeing their rates go up and them being so worried about it in our area?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's very real too, and I get it. But at the same time, when you pay a premium, no matter how high that premium is, you expect the insurance company to do what they're contractually obligated to do. I mean, insurance is supposed to bring peace of mind, and it's supposed to allow you to recover from an accident, or if it's depending on what kind of policy it is, or from a natural disaster. And so when you have a covered peril, we need those insurance companies to do what they're contractually obligated to do. Otherwise, you're not getting anything for your dollar, whether you're paying a low premium or a high premium.
We'll be right back with more. Don't go away.